On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Do better, she would do better, right? But no woman wants to marry a tall bum. She wants to marry a tall dude that has resources and is dope and is in his masculinity and can carry a conversation and can move in a room full of people and be able to network effectively. But I seen some tall hunched over dudes that's just corny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
talking about hypergamy, and Amira, interpreted what I was saying correctly. Just different people, like when I was talking about that, she kind of broke it down after. Different people might have a different thing that they look at as their goal. That's all I'm saying. Like for some people, it's all about the money. For some people, it's all about the looks. For some people, it's all about the height. I mean, we hear this all the time.
But it's like, how long does that last?
Different. I mean, I don't know. Ask them. I was just answering the question. I mean, I'm just trying to see what's wrong with my answer.
Don't be scared.
JR.
Don't be scared.
Don't worry about sweetheart.
I think both of them are right.
Okay. Okay. Breaking down female nature and relationships. What come to mind?
I think that just generally speaking, female, like a woman's nature in a relationship, is just to kind of figure out the part that they play in that relationship and do that. I mean, different people do different things. Like Q talked about, the nurturing women, and Amira talked about women that are like looking for a weakness, and Kayla talked about women that are micromanaging and whatnot. I mean, all of those things are valid. I just think it just depends on the woman, and I think that it's very general, and I know y'all hate when I do that. But it just depends. Like women's nature depends on the woman, on the man, on what they're trying to do within that relationship. It just depends. Every woman is not exactly the same. Some women's personality is to be, dominating and domineering and all this. Some women's personalities are more submissive. Some are more nurturing and caring. Some are more cold and heartless. I mean, it just depends on the woman and the situation and the relationship.
So we're not all snowflakes. Like we're more alike than we are different. You know that. And there are some things, most things in women that are similar between every woman in different degrees, of course.
Was the thing that you were saying was most similar between every woman, the pouncing thing?
I would say so, yeah.
I mean, I disagree, and that's okay.
Anton, breaking down female nature relationships. What are your thoughts about it when you hear it?
I think that, of course, again, like discounting the anomalies, I think that inherently most women are the same. Most women, they are submissive depending on the type of guy that they're around. And most women are hypergamous. So they want the best, the most, and they're looking for the best available option. And most times, depending on their circumstance, especially as they get older, hitting the wall, they may not have gotten the thing that they wanted earlier in life, or they may have neglected to even pay attention to certain things in their lives that would have been best for them long term. And so they start to scramble. They still by nature are hypergamous. They still by nature will emasculate a weak man that don't stand up for himself. Similar to the whole cat analogy. If you turn your back on a cat, I don't care if you've raised that cat since birth. If you turn your back on a cat, on a lion, on a tiger, on a little kitty cat, whatever it is, if you turn your back on a cat, it will automatically by default go into a stance because the nature of that cat is to hunt, right? You can't domesticate fully, entirely, and you never know exactly when it's going to be your time if you decide to turn your back on a cat. And so I believe that women are more similar than they aren't.
Okay.
And I believe that also on top of that when and it was some points that Kay that did say that I agree with when she said it depends on the man. But inherently, I just think that women by default don't submit themselves to weak men. And then by default, they do submit themselves to a certain type of masculine man. And you'll even get a different response if she's with a husband, right? And the dude is weak. I think if you ask most women, when a super duper masculine guy walks in a room or whatever like that, she may not show it to her husband, but inherently deep down inside, she can identify the differences between that guy and that guy. And she will move differently if that guy was in her life. As a matter of fact, she will secretly wish that her man was more similar to that guy so that she can then live more in her feminine nature. Women want to be feminine, but ultimately at times they find themselves in a relationship with another woman masked as a guy. So he is a guy, but inherently in the inside, he's acting like a woman. And that's when you see her masculinity come out of her.
I think I seen that. You said secretly. She secretly wishes that she was with that guy.
Yeah, she will secretly wish that she's with that more masculine. They want to be feminine. They want to be, even if you ask most women, right? I coach a lot of women and they have some high-powered jobs and some awesome positions, and they work in information technology, they lawyers and all of that other type of stuff. And if you ask them, yo, if your man made enough money and you can be a stay-at-home mom and you can get all of the, you can go to the PTA meetings and all of this other type of stuff, they'd be like, most of them by default say, I would quit in a minute. They would quit in a minute and leave all that behind just to be able to do the thing that they're by nature built to do.
I see we're thinking alike, because my next question, you already answered it. So I'm going to ask the ladies, are women hypergamous? Kayla?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Q? Is she there? Is she frozen?
Q, can you hear us, Q?
My bad. I was texting JR. It's funny.
Come on.
It's at the bottom. Are women hypergamous?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
You, Amir? You agree? I'm pretty sure I know. Your answer.
Very much so.
Okay. What about you, Kay? Would you agree?
Yes, for the most part.
For the most part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh my goodness. Like, can I just answer the question?
No, I need some context behind your answer.
You know what? The only reason I think that for the most part, and hypergamous, just has to do with your perception of the person. So I'm just saying for the most part, I'd like to leave it there.
What does that mean?
What do you mean the perception of the person?
Of them being valuable or whatever, more valuable than you. So,
gotcha.
Like, for example, someone might date a guy who's 6'6", and they might not make that much money, but they'll sacrifice that because they look at him as a valuable man based on his height, which, I mean, but whatever the case may be, I'm saying it like that. Some people might look at it money wise. Some people might look at it attractiveness wise. How many people want this man? Like, different people look at it different ways.
Status.
It might be status. You might be a starving artist, but everyone knows who you are, and women are throwing themselves at you because they view you as valuable.
But you ain't got the money.
It's not always like money wise. It could be a lot of different things. That's why I said it depends on the person's perception. And I said for the most part, just because everyone's just not the same.
There's no way that she's marrying a tall bum.
Who?
The girl that's with the dude that's tall that ain't got no money. Like, there's no way that she's marrying a tall bum.
Any tall broke people that are married?
Yeah,
I do, but I don't think that it. See, when you add the context, I don't think that the girl that married him could do any. I don't think the girl that married him could do any better than what it is that she got.
But I think she's saying in a way where for that woman, that man was her
more valuable
goal. Exactly. That was her goal, was to have
the point that I'm making is that when women, because you have to understand that as you get older, you realize the difference between good and bad, right? Your perception of what's dope, right, changes as you mature, similar to a child moving into maturity, right? A guy that is 13, 14 in high school, all he want to do is bust it down, and he's just looking for the chick that's the dopest. A dude that may be 30 or 40 is paying attention more to whether or not this chick is feminine or not, whether or not she would be a great mother. Is she the type of person that would get on the program and get like the changes or the evolution of who you are as you age, you get more information, so you make more informed decisions. I'm saying that a woman that continues to evolve, and as she knows more, if she could do better, she would do better, right? But no woman wants to marry a tall bum. She wants to marry a tall dude that has resources and is dope and is in his masculinity and can carry a conversation and can move in a room full of people and be able to network effectively. But I seen some tall hunched over dudes that's just corny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
talking about hypergamy, and Amira, interpreted what I was saying correctly. Just different people, like when I was talking about that, she kind of broke it down after. Different people might have a different thing that they look at as their goal. That's all I'm saying. Like for some people, it's all about the money. For some people, it's all about the looks. For some people, it's all about the height. I mean, we hear this all the time.
But it's like, how long does that last?
Different. I mean, I don't know. Ask them. I was just answering the question. I mean, I'm just trying to see what's wrong with my answer.
Don't be scared.
JR.
Don't be scared.
Don't worry about sweetheart.
I think both of them are right.